What I handed to you is your notes, yes. Okay? No, I will not. Okay, so aim for the day. If I have two lines, what do we call that? Starts with an S. System. Very good. What do we call that point? Intersection. The point of intersection is referred to as the solution to the system. It is an XY value. So far, we have talked about one way, and that is by graphing. There are multiple ways to solve for systems. Today, you learn the second way of solving for systems. The second way of solving for systems is called substitution. The nice thing about substitution is that you don't have to go through the work of generating the graph. Okay? Here's what we do instead. Okay? Are we okay, bud? Today is definitely a challenging lesson. If we don't really lean in and focus, it's not going to turn out well. Okay, the graphing is definitely an easier part. This is pretty challenging. Okay, so here we go. Okay, here's what we do when we substitute. It says number one, solve one of the equations for x or for y. So the question is, do one of these equations either say x equals or does one of them say y equals? Yes. Which one, the top or bottom? Yeah, you can see that the top says x equals. Everybody see that? So that checks off step one. We feel like we're good to go there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to substitute into the other one. I know that x is equal to this. So I could take this and place it. Do you think I put it where the x is or where the y is? Think about it. This says x is this. So if x is this, is it going to go in for the x or the y? It's going to go in for the x. So you can do this because this is x. This is x. It says x is equal to that guy. So we're going to put this in for the x. So I write it 2 times, instead of x, what do I have in its place? 2y plus 7 plus 6y equals 14. So I have the exact same equation. The only difference is instead of the x, I put in the 2y plus the 7. Because it's going to allow me to solve for y. Look at this. Now instead of having two variables, I have one variable. I just have the y. And I know how to solve this equation. Watch what happens. What do I do with the 2 in order to solve? I'm going to distribute the 2 through. What is 2 times 2y? 4y plus 14 plus 6y equals. Now, I didn't have you guys first semester or really for a lot of third quarter, and so I don't know how our equation solving skills are. But what we can tell you is as we look on this side of the equation, are there any terms we can combine together? The 4y and the 6y, you add those together, and what do you get? You get 10y plus 14 is equal to 14. Now, I have a basic two-step equation. What do I do to solve this two-step equation? Minus 14. And I get 10y is equal to 14 minus 14 is 0. I need to solve for y. What do I do to both sides? Divide by 10. Y is 0. So I want you to now connect this with what we've done earlier. Everybody pause and just look at the board here, okay? When we solve a system, we find a coordinate. We find the x value and we find the y value. As you look at our solution, did we find both of those or just one of those? We found just one. So look at our steps in solving. It says solve for one equation. We did. Substitute it. We did. And we solved. But now the question is we got to get an ordered pair. Our ordered pair, the y value is 0. In order to do the x value, we have to take that y and plug it in. Watch what we can do. If I take the 0 and plug it in for y, what's 2 times 0 plus 7? I get 7. So therefore, 7 is the x value. And that's the solution to our system. So I plug the 0 in for y. What's 2 times 0? Plus 7. Not the easiest thing in the world, is it? We better try a couple more examples. Let's look at the second one. You tell me, it all starts here. Do we have an x equals or a y equals? We do have a y equals. Is that the top one or the bottom one? That's the top one. So I have a y equals for the top. So if I have y equals for the top, what am I going to do with this? Where am I going to place it? Is this what x is or is this what y is? It's what y is. Here, this says that y is this. So I can put it in for the y. See that? See that now? So now I have negative 5x plus, instead of y, what do I write? 3x plus 1, that's equal to negative 3. Do I have any terms that I can combine together on this side? What's negative 5x and positive 3x? That's negative 2x. If you wanted to put the parentheses there, you could, but what number is in front of the parentheses? Just a plus 1, and so that would be the same then. Okay, so I combine the negative 5x and 3x here, negative 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 3. Now what do I do to both sides? Subtract the 1. Negative 2x is equal to negative 4. How do I solve that? Divide by negative 2. What is negative 4 divided by negative 2? Positive 2. Calculus. Okay, look at what we have. I have x is 2. I need an ordered pair. Do I currently know the x value or the y value? I know the x value. It is what? It is 2. So now I need to come up with y. How will I get y? I can take the 2 and plug it in right here. What is 3 times 2 plus 1? 7. Therefore, this is the solution to the system. Okay. Yes. You could use the one below as well. Either way, you're going to come up with the same answer. Let's try 2 more together. Flip it over. What's that? I do the videos just to help kids out. So I have a number of kids gone today for calculus, so watching the video will really help them as well. So no, YouTube's hearing this. They're used to hearing me talk to the kids about all sorts of stuff. So okay. All right, here we go. Now, I have drawn a few examples for you, okay? What I want you to do now is you start leading me through the example. What's the first thing I look for? The x or the y. So which one do I have? Do I have an x equals or the y equals? I have an x equals. Is it the top one or the bottom one? Okay, it's the top one. Great. So you've identified that first step. What do I do now? I know if the top's an x equals, what do I do? Okay, this is what we got to figure out. What does it mean? So I like to bake. Okay, I like to bake when I'm at home. And here's the thing. Here's something I really like to bake. I love to bake pancakes. Okay, and pancakes calls for something. It calls for something really important. It calls for buttermilk. Now, here's the deal. I don't keep buttermilk at my house, but I have a substitute I can use instead. What does that mean? Actually, if you take milk and you add lemon juice to it and let it sit, it actually thickens and it becomes like buttermilk. So I always have lemon juice and milk on hand. So what does it mean? What does it mean for me to substitute that for that? What does that mean? That means instead of using buttermilk, I use milk. Okay. Here's what it has to do with, okay? Watch, you guys. Instead of using buttermilk, I will use milk and lemon juice. So watch. Instead of using this x, I'm going to use this and just have what variable left? I'm just going to have y's. The x's will be gone, and I'll just have y's. So you can see that's the substitution. You get rid of one and you use the other. So I'm going to use this, and then all the x's will be gone. That's what it means to substitute. Use one in place of the other. So what is my equation? What does it read? We'll get rid of the pancakes and buttermilk. I've got what? Negative 2 times? And that's equal to oh, that looks complicated. What do I do? How do I start this? Distributive property, very good. Negative 2 times negative 4y. 8y. Negative 2 times negative 4, or negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Now what? Are the y's on the same side or opposite sides? So let's get them on the same sides. Would you like your y's on the right side or the left side? A lot of people like them on the left, so I'm going to add 5y to both sides. And when you do that, what do you get on the left side now? 13y plus 4 is equal to. Okay, now I've got that. If I've got my y's on the left side, I'm going to move my numbers on the right side. How do I move the 4? I subtract 4. 13y is equal to. Excellent. I've got 13y is negative 39. How do I solve? I get y is equal to negative 3. So I need a coordinate. Which one do I have? I have the y value of negative 3. I need to come up with which one now? How do I come up with the x? Where? So I take the negative 3 right there. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. Minus 2 is 10. Very good. Your answer is right there. Okay. Flip it over. I'm gonna have you try one on your own, but we're gonna change the problem. I'm gonna make it slightly easier. Change your problem. I would like you to try substitution. I'm going to give you an easier problem. You try this one on your own. Let me know how it goes. Question Wednesday. Okay, that's great. Why don't you try this one as well in a smaller area? Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's go through it. Check to see your work. As you have questions, please let's talk about it. We have 2x plus 4 times all right, here we go. So we have 4 times. Rhea, this is your question. In place of this y, we put 2x plus 1. And the operation is, this is multiplying. So what do we do with that 4? What do we do with this 4? We distribute it across. We have 2x plus, what is 4 times 2x? 8x. What is 4 times 1? 4 equals 34. Very good. Are there any terms that we can combine together on this side? What are the terms we can combine together? 2x and 8x make 10x, plus 4 is 34. I subtract the 4. Blake, eyes up here. Now what do? Divide by 10. X is 3. So if x is 3, how is it that I come up with y? Yep, plug in the 3 right here. What is 2 times 3? It is 6 plus 1 is 7. Very good. Okay. Now, we did find y. So Shadir is an excellent question. But my variable, okay, look at what we have. We have y equals this. So that means I'm getting rid of the y, and I'm going to use x's instead. So now I have x's all the way through. I come up with x, which is right here, and I plug it back in to get my y. Dakota, you had a question. So you see that I got the 3? That is the 3 an x value or y value? X. So then I take the 3 and I plug it in for x. What is 2 times 3? 6 plus 1 is 7, and that's my y value. Did that answer your question? Good. If you wanted to solve, like subtract the 1 and divide by the 2 to get the x and then do that, yes. It would work either way. Yes, it would. Okay, I'm going to give you guys your assignment. We're going to need a couple days to work through this.